Introducing George Saab.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for joining us. I want to thank everyone who's here in the room who braved the elements to be with us today. They actually had a survey for the most popular way to get here today. Anyone know what it was? Backstroke. All right, so in addition to everyone in the room, I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to the thousands of people who are joining us online. And thank you for joining. This is the Oracle DevLive Level Up Java Day. And we've got a great program for you. In addition to this session, we're going to have 3 tracks that are going on all day, also streaming online. So there's a lot to look forward to. So really, really happy to be with you today. We're gonna launch JDK 20 in just a minute, but first, just wanted to reflect a little bit on where we are and how far we've come. So we're now into the 28th year of innovation on Java technology. It's amazing to be here. We've got a lot of people on the team who've been here all the way through, working on bringing you a great platform. Such a great platform, in fact, that many enterprises out there really rely on Java to run their business. I think of sort of the number of things that I do throughout the day and the number of those that are impacted or sort of touched by Java in some way, and you just lose count. It's just astounding. What's interesting about this is that, a few years ago, we took a step back and said, where do we want to take things? And one of the things that was very clear to us was that we wanted Java to be a platform that continued to evolve and help solve the business problems that people out there are facing every day. And so one of the things we did was made a change to how we deliver it. We're going to talk about that a little bit. But the result has been that we have a continuous pipeline of innovation. And the feeling of the people on the team, and I think what we hear from people who are using Java, is that pipeline of innovation has never been richer than it is today. So we're going to talk a little bit about how that's going. We're going to talk a little bit about Java 20 and also give a little bit of insight into some of the things you can hear about throughout the rest of the day. What's been one of the some of the most important things that have made Java so popular? Well, I think there's been a constant dedication to performance, stability, security, and also compatibility and maintainability. These are all things that sort of permeate everything we do when we're thinking about improvements to Java. And it sometimes means that we're a little bit conservative. If we're not sure how something needs to be done yet, or we think it's going to impact one of these things in a negative way, we may hold off until we can figure out the Java way of adding it in. I think the numbers kind of speak for themselves, and there are a lot of things that have helped make this the case, right? Why is Java the #1 language? Well, it's because people can trust Java. They can trust Java. They can see what's going on. They can take part in the development. We don't do a bunch of work, behind closed doors and throw it over the wall. Instead, all the development that we're doing is done in projects mostly led by Oracle in the Openjdk community. And you can go to Openjdk, you can join the mailing lists, you can see what's happening. You can witness the design discussions by experts and really understand what is motivating adding this particular thing to Java. Why was it done this way and not some other way that might have seemed more obvious? And I think that's something that's pretty unique, and we hear from developers time and time again that they really love the ability to get that kind of insight, not only into what's in Java today and how did it get there, but also where is it headed out into the future. I think a result of that, again, has been we've added this 6-month cadence that basically makes it so you have a very, very predictable set of releases coming out. Gone are the days when a release would be worked on for 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 years, and you really wouldn't know when it was going to be done. Instead, developers and enterprises can know that there's going to be a release. Now, they might not know exactly what's going to be in it until we get into the development cycle, but there again, we've worked to reduce surprises. And one of the ways that we've done that is taken advantage of these 6-month releases in order to introduce features as previews. And so basically what that means is it's a fully production-ready, finished feature that's added into a release but hidden behind a flag. Now, you might say, well, why is it hidden by a flag? In the old days, in that form, it would have gone into Java, and that would have meant that we poured the concrete on the API, and it isn't going to change ever, even if there were sort of problems with it. And so with the 6-month cadence, what we're able to do is put it in as a preview. That means that if I turn it on, I can try it out. This means a lot more people are trying these features out and giving us feedback before that concrete is poured. The result of that, of course, is that we can make small changes. We can make tweaks here and there and make the APIs as solid and as intuitive and as consistent as they can be. And this has been really, really useful. So what that has led to then is also this sort of blooming of innovation in the Java platform. In the old days with the release, every few years, if something was almost done, you really kind of want to get it in, and there's so much going into one release that once it's done, wow, what are we doing next? I don't know. I guess we better go back to the drawing board. Instead now, with these releases happening all the time, it's easier for smaller increments of change to be broken off and delivered into successive 6-month releases. And so basically that's meant that there's always something going on. One release might have features from one project, another one will have from a different project, and so there's never this sort of need to completely restart. And this is very important because when we think of evolution for Java, one of the things that we want to do is make sure that we're adding this innovation, but we're not breaking you. We're basically making it so this pipeline of innovation can be taken advantage of by existing applications moving forward. But that innovation is there in order to help solve new problems that come about. Right? We want the investment that you as a Java developer have made in choosing your programming technology to basically for you to be able to get some kind of return on that. And so what this means is that as new programming paradigms come along, as new hardware comes along, as the world changes and the tools that you have need to change with it, that can be done in a way that is graceful. Here again, we try to have this balance between being conservative about putting new things in, making sure that it's actually something that's going to stand the test of time, but then also not being too conservative, making sure we are continuing to move the platform forward. So how do we do that? Well, I mentioned Openjdk Community earlier. This is where we do the development. These are some of the projects, just a small number of the ones that are going on right now in Openjdk, stewarded by folks on my team at Oracle. And I think if you look at this, you'll see there's a very rich set of projects that we have. We have things like Amber, which is working on the Java language and making small improvements to it over time. And Amber has actually delivered into every 6-month release that we've had. We have Loom, which is working on improving scalability of Java, the already great scalability and taking it to the next level. We have Panama, which is about integration of Java with native libraries in both directions. We have things like ZGC, which is really the state of the art for garbage collection, and making it so you can have really predictable and low latency for even massively large heaps. We have things like Valhalla, which is just getting to the point where we're going to start to see deliveries from it coming forward. And this is about rethinking the way that memory management is worked, or the memory model for Java is worked, so that we can really take advantage of hardware that exists today and going forward that really nobody had thought of when Java was originally created. And finally, we have something like Leiden, which is just getting started now, looking at how we can take all the great work that's been done and investigation into different ways of improving startup and warm up for Java applications, and bring that into the Java specification in a way that feels natural and makes sense. Okay, so I mentioned things coming in from those projects and the 6-month releases. Well, of course, when we made this change, as you can see here, from the old major releases in Java 8 and 9 to the 6-month releases, we didn't magically find a way of doing 3 years of work in 6 months. Instead, what we did was thought about how we could break down the problems we were trying to solve into smaller problems that had smaller increments of solution coming in. And so what that has meant is that each of these 6-month releases actually has a smaller increment of change, but made to you available to you as a developer more quickly. And so developers, I think originally there was sort of a, gosh, I don't know, how's this going to work? Are these betas? Are production ready? What are they? And I think now that we've been doing this for over 5 years, over 10 releases, people have started to get that, wow, these are production ready, right? The only thing is they're production ready, but I need to understand that things that are preview might change. And if I want something to run in production and not need to move forward to the next release, then I should probably be looking at a support offering from a vendor like Oracle or one of the other choices that I have in the Java industry in order to be able to get a long-term support stream of updates. And so that basically means that I've got a particular release, it's in production, I just want to get fixes for performance, stability, and security, and not necessarily have to have new features coming in. And so the nice thing about this balance is it means that there's really a choice for lots of different needs. Before, what we really had with the major releases was we only effectively had things like long-term support releases. Now we also have the 6-month releases bringing things to developers in production-ready format on a very, very frequent basis. Speaking of long-term support releases, I did want to mention when 17 came out, we talked about the idea that we were starting to hear from people that they like these, but they'd really like to see them happen more frequently. And so I am very happy to say that the next release for which Oracle has planned to offer long-term support will be JDK 21 in September of this year. Okay. So with that, I am very happy to announce that Java 20 is available. Some of you may have already downloaded it. Many of you may have already downloaded some of the early access builds and given us feedback. We'd like to thank you for that. But basically, you can now download it and go ahead and use it. And please pay attention to the 7 JDK enhancement proposals. These are basically JEPs calling out larger features. And all of these are things that have come in from Project Amber, Panama, and Loom. But the changes in 20 are not restricted to just those 7 JEPs. There are thousands of fixes for performance, stability, and security, and even smaller enhancements. And so there are going to be sessions today where you can learn more about all of the content of both those 7 JEPs, but also many of the other changes that have come in. So I would encourage you to attend those and learn about them. We also have the availability of Java FX 20. So nice to see that moving along with client and graphical technology. Really, really just a great release, and I think a nice step forward from 19. So with that, I'd like to thank all of the folks that helped bring this about. Of course, working on this technology in the Openjdk community, we try to be very welcoming to more parties, and we'd like to thank those parties for the contributions they've made. Here, really interestingly, we see a lot of contributions from different parties around the industry that have an interest in making sure that Java support is really strong for their operating system or their hardware or their technology stack or their cloud. And so that's really nice to see. We're proud of the growing set of contributors that we have. Interestingly, for Java 20, the sort of second to largest contributor was independent. And so that actually means folks who have come along that are not necessarily affiliated with some other company, but that maybe from academia or some other place that are making contributions. So really nice to see that as well. I think it's a testament to the spirit of open source. Here, of course, the largest contributor by far still remains Oracle. Basically larger than all the others combined. And that's something that is a burden we're happy to bear. We're happy to shoulder that responsibility because we think it also gives us an opportunity to focus on and provide some stewardship and direction for the technology. And that's mostly what we see. Most of the projects that Oracle are contributing to here are really ones that are about the evolution of the platform, the language, the VM. And so we think that the fact that we're doing that extent of contribution is also one of the reasons why people are increasingly turning to Oracle for their needs to get updates and support and value-added features. There are, in addition to the technology itself, quite a lot of challenges that people face in trying to adopt technology and maintain it and use it to run their business. And so that's really what the Java SE subscription is about, is helping those customers with those challenges. And what we've seen here is with the Java SE universal subscription, we include not only support and updates, we also have a wealth of tools and value-added features. Everything from the Java Management Service, which I'll mention in a moment, to things like the Java SE Subscription Enterprise Performance Pack that lets people who are running something on Java 8 get even much better performance up to the level of Java 17 as a drop-in replacement. We have things like Graal VM Enterprise and the great features that that brings along. And we also have turned more and more, we've heard from our customers that people don't want support just for the JDK. What they want is support for their entire stack and everything that they run in Java. And so this is something that we've added basically to help you with whatever your problem and challenge is when you're running something in Java. Okay, so with that, really happy to see the sort of adoption by customers. This is both new customers, and we have over 10,000 subscribers. We also, that represents over 50% of the Fortune 500, and we've got a really high renewal rate there. This is something that is basically all over the planet, and we're quite happy to see it and hear the satisfaction from our existing customers. In order to help people, again, with how they're using Java in their enterprise, we have something called the Java Management Service. And so this is an Oracle Cloud Native service, which you can use in order to keep track of where am I running Java, what versions is it running, what applications is it running, and basically handle the management and installation of updates there. This is something that was originally launched in June of 2021 and is available now in 35 OCI regions around the world. So wherever you are, there's probably an instance that's running somewhere close to you. With that, we also announced that the JMS Discovery Services are available to everyone, whether you're a subscriber or not. So this is something that you can use just to keep track of that. Where am I running Java? What is it running? What kinds of applications? And then in addition to that, if you are a subscriber, there are a lot of advanced services that you get. Things like understanding your usage of crypto, understanding third-party library use, and keeping track of, am I above the security baseline on that? Are there things that are coming along in the crypto roadmap that may affect me? Here again, there's a great session that's going on later today that will talk a lot about this, and you can ask all kinds of questions. So please attend that. Okay, so with that, we think that Java is not just about technology. It's always been about a rich community and a rich ecosystem. And so this is something that, as we've gone along, Oracle has tried to play its part in encouraging this growth and this momentum. And we do that in a lot of different places. Basically, in working with the Java community process, I mentioned the Openjdk community, but also programs like the Java Champions, the Java user groups, things like the Java Magazine, JDuchess, the Oracle Academy and University for training at different levels of education. These are things that really help make and keep the Java ecosystem strong. And in fact, I get asked from time to time, where's the best place to go and learn about things and what's happening? And so here, I'd really like to refer everyone to dev.java and Inside Java. So dev.java is basically a site for developers for Java. So you can go and find out what's happening and learn about Java, check it out. There's a great set of resources available there. Inside Java is basically like an RSS feed of a lot of the information that has been produced and things that have been published, primarily and first from people from my group, but I think we're going to see that pool expanding over time. So this is basically a great place to go and read in-depth articles by the people who brought you Java about what they're doing, what they're interested in, the problems they're trying to solve, etc. So check those out. And finally, I just wanted to mention the awesome developer relations team that we have. These are folks that you're probably going to see at conferences that you go around the world to. And you'll see some of them actually here in the conference center today. Really, really pleased to have these folks. In addition to seeing them in person, you can see them online. So when you go and look at social media about Java, or you look at our Java YouTube channel, these are the folks who are producing a lot of the content that you see there. So please check those things out. We love to hear your feedback, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Another area that I wanted to call out just in very specifically, newest member of the team, Heather Stevens, who has joined us to focus on Java in education. This is something we think is critically important because we've got a lot of people out there who know Java. We have generations who are coming along for whom, gosh, what is this technology? I've never heard about it. It's not like the latest, coolest, newest thing. But what we're seeing is increasingly that new generation are finding Java, and they're finding out about what's there, and they're learning about the way that it helps them solve the challenges that they have today, and increasingly the challenges that they have going forward. So all of these things, you're going to hear more about during the day. Thank you so much for coming along. Thank you to all of the people who have joined us online, and I hope you enjoy the show.